you believe that we started recording right in the middle of 2020 with all of the COVID and lockdowns going on around us, unable to meet up? So like many a young gentleman, we turned to the internet for our entertainment. Tried to find a place where we could meet up and talk about the good, the bad, and that time that Stu saw a pelican on the canal. In order to facilitate our dreams of answering all of the big questions in film, and after a few attempts at recording via other methods to various levels of success, we found Zencastr, a super easy web-based one-stop shop for recording. Log in and you're ready to record in a matter of seconds. It doesn't take a tech genius to get high quality audio or video. And on top of that, the one time we have had an issue, the fact that the multi-layered backups are stored locally means it's easily fixed all in browser. There are plenty of tools you need when you start podcasting, so let Zencastr take that headache away, as it offers a place to record, edit and distribute all from one website. Any lazy bones Jones can pick up and play and have studio quality audio or 4K video put out for the world to see when using Zencastr. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use our code CAGEFIGHTING and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. We want you to have the same easy experiences we do for all our podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. And now, hit the music. Hello and welcome to Cage Fighting. It's your main man Andy Gillard here. Hope everybody's keeping well and warm out there right now. I'm only here to introduce the next part of the podcast. As you know, last week we did Christmas Past. This week we're doing Christmas Present. We have also made a slight alteration to what's happening in Absurd Autumn, but you'll get to that when you get to that. Anyway, passing it over to myself as we get into what's going on this year. So, Christmas Present. That was confusing. What are your thoughts of 2025 so far? Has it been a blockbuster year or has it been a straight to DVD one, Stu?
It's been like straight to HD DVD. It's been all right. Like there's been no. I mean, obviously we haven't had Avatar Fire and Ice yet, so there's been no brilliant film of the year. It's been more TV stuff for me this year, especially with. We'll bring them up in a bit, but it's been like when you try and rank it, and then you look at a couple of years ago, and it was amazing. And we talked about 2022 as well, how everything had been pushed from COVID stuff, and it all been pushed back, and then you get everything out in one go, and it was all amazing. And then you're going to have the natural ripple effect where things that weren't filmed then, you have massive lulls, and that lull seems to have coincided with people not going to the cinema anymore as well, and people being idiots. So it was like we've feasted off scraps, but then when ones did appear, they seem to just come and then go again really quickly, which is like seems to be the theme of the year.
The amount of films that I'm like, I've had on my list and like I want to see them. They've come out on the Friday, and then I think, well, I can't fit it in this Friday. I'll do it in the week or the week after, and it's fucking gone within a week or two. Has been absolutely ridiculous this year, and I kind of wonder if it's a case of people just aren't turning out for movies.
Yeah, it happened with me.
The box office has been dog shit again this year, and if people don't go to it first week, it dies on its arse. It doesn't get a second week.
That happened with Mickey 17. And I still haven't seen it. Obviously, that's one of the questions.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
But it was there for what, a week and a half?
Bong Joon-ho. It's got Batman in. Like, what more do you fucking want in a film? And yeah, nothing. Ed, how have you found it?
Well, I think you've touched on what I was going to say is, as a filthy casual when it comes to going to the cinema, there hasn't been anything this year that's grabbed me, that's made me do it. And for the few that I really wanted to see, things like we're going to talk about in a bit, trying to fit it around childcare, and then you go, actually, I do actually have a free evening now, and then it's not there because it's stopped. Just means that I don't think I've been to the cinema this year, which is not normal. Normally, I'd go probably once every 2 months, 3 months. There's normally something I'll watch and find time for, but I haven't this whole year. And I've watched an awful lot of stuff on streaming, TV, as Stu's talked about, but I think you two have already touched on what I was going to say. Is just there hasn't been that blockbuster that grabbed casuals like me, and then the ones that you think I'll make some time to go and watch that, they're just not there when you've got time to go and see them, because the runs seem to be super short, regardless of. And granted, where I live, the cinemas aren't exactly well stocked. You know, we're not talking huge showcases here in Worcester, but the runs and the screens just that there's just nothing on for very long.
It's terrible, really, and like even some of the B tier films, Die My Love, the one with Robert Pattinson and Jennifer Lawrence. I was so fucking up for seeing this film. I didn't even get to Cineworld. I don't know, that's two like bona fide fucking A-listers in that film. Don't get me wrong, I know it's a Lynn Ramsey film, so the chances are like it's not going to be mega bucks. It's going to be more arty than anything else. I get that. But even so, to not get one showing on one day, when they fucking advertised it, when there were trailers for it at Wolverhampton, and it never made it. I think they had a couple of showings at the Birmingham Cineworld.
It was the same for the Benedict Cumberbatch and Coleman. The slapstick,
the roses.
There's a View here, and there's an Odeon, which has only got 2 screens, and it wasn't on at one of them. And for one of them, it was on the Friday night, the Saturday night, and one showing on the Sunday. That was it. It ran for 3 days.
Dear me!
And that's got 2 huge. Well, we've got an Oscar winner and 2 of the biggest British actors of the era. No, and unless it's like Paddington or something, it doesn't run.
Yeah, I don't feel like actual cinema chains are really covering themselves in glory with these things. And I know it can't be easy because, as we've said, people aren't turning out in great numbers. But if you also don't supply people with what they want, you're not going to help yourself in the long term. And I don't feel like we've had, like you touched on as well. Hang on. Just turned my camera off and light. Just 1 second. Am I back on?
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah. I knocked the fucking switch on my my multi-plug under the desk. You touched on it, Ed. I don't feel like we've had a great run of blockbusters this year that have really sort of impacted anything. We've had some decent ones, like I think Superman was great. And Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. But they did okay numbers, but nothing amazing. So, yeah, it just feels... It feels like the best films have not come from the big studios. They've not been the big budget movies. They've been the smaller. They've been the... I'm not going to say Sinners is an independent, because I think it's Warner Brothers. But it's got an independent spirit to it. Same as something like Warfare was, some... Friendship, Companion, just reading off my list, Bring Her Back. These are films that have got more of an indie sensibility, and that's been where the best films have been made this year. It's not been made in big budgets again, and like Hollywood can't afford to keep making that and making no money off the back of it.
And even last year, like The Substance, which you've had loved, and that ran for ages because I didn't watch it until the 3rd week at Cineworld, and that was something that was as niche as that was for people who are not really going to go and see something like that. And yet again, not a massive budget on it, despite having Demi Moore.
It was interesting because I saw it. They did 2 showings. They did like a Tuesday and a Wednesday night, and I booked in to see one film and I had to swap it around because I couldn't get them both in for whatever reason. So I had to swap it around. And I think the word of mouth was so strong on The Substance that they then brought it back in a week and a half later and gave it a little bit of a run, which is when you got to see it, which is almost fucking unheard of 12 months later.
Yeah, and nothing has had that chance since. And despite all the stuff around weapons, you'd think that that'd get the same kind of treatment, but it just didn't.
No,
it's gone.
No, it didn't. And it's kind of weird. Like I've just looking at my list here, The Long Walk. That film was
I didn't have
incredible, and it got no airplay. Unreal.
That wasn't even on. Did you watch it and then it was gone within a few days again?
I saw it on the Friday. I saw the first showing on the Friday of it, and I think a week later, I think it was gone.
Yeah, so
I don't know if it's just our fucking cinema, but the one in Wolverhampton's got 14 screens, is it, Stu?
Yeah.
There's more than enough to show a bit of everything, and it just doesn't.
And when they clearly can do it, because like we said again a few weeks ago, when we went to watch Wicked for Good, and there was probably 20 people in there.
Yeah.
And that was 9:20 in the morning, where they don't open that early normally. And yet they've done it for probably one of the biggest films of the year. And they've got people in.
Mm-hmm.
Admittedly, all of them, other than us, were women. But still, they're still turned out. So it proves that there's an audience there. And what have they done? Press go on the projector. They've still sold stuff. I mean, you had popcorn for breakfast. So
exactly. Yeah.
It's one of them. It just doesn't make any sense.
No. That's a revelation that you had popcorn, Andy, as well.
It was too early for me to have breakfast at home. So I was like, I need coffee, I need breakfast. So I'll just have to do.
Well, these powdered squash.
Yeah, flavour. If I'm going to see something where I've seen it already or I know it, I don't mind having food. So like when I went to see Superman with Stu, I had popcorn the second time, but I didn't the first. I've seen Wicked several times, the play, so I knew what was coming. So I wasn't too arsed about it, to be fair.
It's when they come down with their 3-course meal that always gets me. They got the nachos and the hot dogs and then the popcorn.
I don't know why they serve the noisiest fucking food in these places. It's just ridiculous. Said it before, it should be ham sandwiches and nothing else. Yeah.
That sandworm that was sitting next to me for Naked Gun when she had a whole massive Aldi bag full of food and she ate it all.
It's like the TARDIS, just bringing out more and more food.
Yeah.
I hate when people do that. Because inevitably, if you bring your own food, it's never going to be food that's suitable for the cinema.
No.
But she'd already ate the food that she bought in the cinema and she added more. It was 1 hour and 40 minutes long.
That's a long time for people to ghost you.
Yeah. Some people just don't fucking eat unless they go to the cinema. And it's always the one that I'm in, because that's why. I bought those loop earplugs. And it does really help sort of focus the sound in. They've been really good. And even when I've heard people open mouth eating and annoying me, because it's taking the sharpness off it, it doesn't. Oh God, shit! It's that fucking.
Was that tape again?
Tape. It takes the edge off it. So I've got to say, if you do have misophonia, loop earplugs are a fucking godsend.
There was no edging going on, by the way.
We didn't know what edging was back then, did we?
My one of my good friends at the time, who actually went out with my cousin for a bit, his name was Scott Edge, and we would have had a great old time if that term would have been known back then. Never heard the end of it.
Mystery, isn't it? Which current film or TV series feels like the most present moment? Something that captures the zeitgeist of 2025, something that's memeable maybe everywhere, however you want to interpret the question, really. Ed?
See, I think I read this as a follow-on from the last question. I wrote down some of when I did a bit of Googling earlier. We've had another Jurassic Park. We've had another Predator movie. We've had another Marvel movie. I feel like 2025 are maybe some of the reasons why even filthy casuals haven't gone to the cinema is IP at the minute just seems dead on its arse. There is just no relatively no new good ideas, and we are seeing the same types of movie. We even had a Snow White reboot, didn't we, in this year? Another live action Disney film. It's just, and that's for me what it feels like at the minute with films. As someone who, when I saw Sinners, the trailer for it, it was like, well, that actually looks different. And I've bought it on Prime, and I just haven't got around to watching it yet. It'll probably be free by the time I get to watch it, but I've already bought it, waiting to go in Christmas. But that jumped out to me not just because it had Michael B. Jordan in it, but twice, but also it looked different, and it wasn't just another remake, or it wasn't just another revamp of the same story. I know, but that for me seems very in the zeitgeist at the minute, that we just seem to have sequels or prequels or revamps of stories we already know. We've got The Running Man as well that came out a couple of weeks ago, another revamp of another old movie that is kind of a cult classic. So it's just a bit, that's what it feels like for me at the minute. And add to that we're in this credit crunch. People can't really afford to go to the cinema if they've got other things going on and all that kind of stuff. It just feels like there's nothing to grab people to go in, like we've had in recent years. I mean, we had Oppenheimer and Barbie, didn't we? And those types of things that were event cinema, and we just I don't think we've had them for a while.
I think that's a really good point, actually. Everything does kind of feel pretty samey at the moment. Not getting a lot. I mean, again, there is stuff that you can find, but it's on you to find it. They're not doing a great deal of promoting anything fresh and interesting that isn't based on pre-existing IP, which is quite disappointing, really. Stu, what have you got?
I mean, I went with the opposite way of a bit of positivity about it all. I mean, I've already mentioned it anyway, but how it was the year of horror films and good horror films. Yeah. And the one that broke through was Weapons. And even though I didn't,
son of a bitch,
it stood up to the hype. Personally, I still enjoyed it really, really much. But it was different. It was different enough. And it kind of sums up everything that was good. Like I couldn't believe that The Monkey was this year. When I looked at it, feels like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
When you start the year with that, which is, it's not really horror. It's silly bollocks, but it's still, I guess, dark comedy horror in the IMDb stuff, which is what Weapons is. But that was the one that broke through, and that was the one that got talked about a lot. And it kind of sums it up, not just this year, but like what we've had in the last 3-4 years. I don't know what you mentioned, Andy, about independent film being better, and it kind of is. So this was obviously not, it still looked great. It didn't look like fucking Samurai Cop. It looked like a decent. I mean, you can make a good-looking film on an iPhone 17 Pro now, so you can record in log. So it's not hard, relatively speaking, to make something that looks decent anymore. But it was a really well-made film, and it was a lot of fun. And I thought, actually, in a year where things have been pretty meh, that will be the one that stands out.
Yeah, So I've gone with one film that I haven't seen that it sounds like to me that it could be something kind of zeitgeisty in a more socio-political way. And I've also gone with Weapons as well. The other one is Grand Theft Hamlet, which is a documentary-style hybrid about two actors on a stage doing Hamlet inside of the Grand Theft Auto Online world. So they're like creating their own play within this world that obviously has been created for the game. And I kind of like how I think with the way that Twitter has gone over this last year, there's been a rise of tech anxiety and there's a lot of AI stuff going on around there. And I think setting a film within a computerized world, I think that's kind of zeitgeisty. I haven't seen this film, for the reason that I can't go too deep into it, but I'm really intrigued about this. And obviously, it's the play about, it's the juxtaposition of violence and tragedy within this culturally dissonant world. Like, it's a moral collapse. I'm just kind of really intrigued. I think it will be very fitting for 2025, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it. But we'll get forward. We'll talk about that next week, about stuff we're looking forward to seeing still. The reason I've gone for weapons, there is like a socio-political element to that as well, because I feel like, again, this year we've seen like a rise of inequality and how violence disproportionately affects marginalised communities, which is what is happening here in this film. So I think it's like quite a good socio-political look at how America is, but on a like a microcosm level. There's a lot of big silly bollocks going on around it as well, but I think at its core you do have this, and obviously gun violence being such an issue as it is in the States, and this is an allegory for gun violence and the paranoia that brings. So I think Weapons probably is the most zeitgeisty of all the films that I've seen, at least this year.
I mean, you can kind of, you're going to have to mention adolescence as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I had that down
from TV stuff, because not just because of how good it was and the performances, but because of what it did. And getting it on this morning and getting it in Parliament and all the other kind of mad stuff that went on afterwards, and then you had the plankton trying to argue, oh well, the kid was white and this is only black crime and all the usual stuff, when completely missing the point of what was actually going on, which is a separate incident, separate subject altogether to what they're talking about. And the fact that you didn't even realise, Andy, that this is as true to life as it is.
I thought they were playing it up, if I'm honest. But unreal.
Yeah, it was a masterpiece, and a very important masterpiece at that as well. And obviously to Stephen Graham, pending. That'll happen soon.
Yeah, absolutely. What 2025 film or TV show is going to be the one we look back on and think, what the fuck was that about? Stu?
The ending of 28 years later? Possibly. Depending on how things go in... the
next film, yeah.
In the next film. That was the first one that sprung to mind, because it was the biggest kind of moment of the year for me. The K-pop revolution, though, is the real answer for this, because this is the film that changed the world, and this K-pop is everywhere. It's absolutely everywhere. And even if this was not their intention, if their intention was, this is made by the Sony Animation Studios and we'll put it out on Netflix, it's like all the other stuff, there's no way on earth they would have expected it to be like this. It's taken over everything.
It kind of feels like, for our generation, like the Grebos and the Fringe. Like, it's the people on the fringe. That is what I always assumed that K-pop was. But I think K-pop Demon Hunters is that bit where it's gone from being fringe to being mega mainstream. Like, I knew that it was... Yeah. Like, I knew it was big. I knew that K-pop was big, but I didn't know how big. And this has just, like, increased it tenfold, because it's brought it to people like us, our attention.
And it's not even...
Yeah,
that's
incredible.
The best thing about it, it's not even really about K-pop anyway.
Not at all, no.
It's like 10 minutes is about K-pop. It's just that that is a point. If they just called it Demon Hunters, would it have worked? I don't know. Did they jump on something that was blowing up anyway? Probably.
It's algorithm based, isn't it?
It's genius.
YouTube titles have to have certain things in it for people to see the videos, and I'm sure TikTok's probably very similar. And just by adding those 4 letters, K-pop, all of a sudden it probably pops up on people's lists and algorithms that it might not have done. But it was. I went to my parents' house and they were watching Strictly, and one of the dances was to K-pop Demon Hunters, the theme tune, I think, or something like that. And it was like, it's bloody this YouTuber I don't know is dancing to a song I don't know, but I know of both of them, which just tells you about what the world is now, isn't it? That you can just absorb stuff through osmosis. That you know what these things are, even if you don't ever watch them.
Crazy, isn't it? Ed, what are we looking back on?
Well, when I was looking back at things, this is a bit of a silly one. When I did see that we'd had a Snow White live action, and I that had passed me by completely. My what the fuck was Gal Gadot plays the Wicked Witch,
yeah.
and she says the famous lines, "Who's the fairest of them all?" And you're Gal Gadot. It's more than likely going to be you. So, what are we doing there? We haven't even done what we did with the Wizard of Oz. We haven't made one of them green, to at least make them slightly weirder to look at. It's just an incredibly pretty woman who's worried about Snow White, who probably objectively very pretty herself isn't as pretty as Gal Gadot. It just none of that makes sense, and it's got an awful Rotten Tomato score and an even worse IMDb score. So I think that, but my what the fuck is any live action remake of a Disney classic. I just don't think we need them. But Gal Gadot pretending to be ugly is bizarre.
I'm trying to remember which of the live actions I've seen. I think I've seen The Jungle Book, and that was fine. I don't think I've seen.
But they're fine because the movies are classics, and that's it, isn't it? They're just we're back to the IP thing that's really starting to narc me. I think now is that we rebadge the same stuff.
Beauty and the Beast was different enough.
Didn't see it.
That was good. That was worthwhile. But it's not much, is it? I mean, it's yeah.
I just kind of hate that we've got to this point where rather than them trying to do fucking anything else, they're just remaking the shit they've already done. So what was Jungle Book the first one? Oh, Cinderella, I didn't see that.
Didn't know that had happened.
So they did The Sorcerer's Apprentice in 2010, which is a vague allusion to Fantasia. So like that's very tangential. Maleficent, which is Sleeping Beauty, I think
that's all right.
Yeah, that was a different story as well, wasn't it? Yeah. It wasn't just Sleeping Beauty.
Alice Through the Looking Glass, Beauty and the Beast, Christopher Robin, Dumbo, Aladdin, The Lion King, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, Lady and the Tramp.
Yep.
Yeah, I have no recollection of that.
The dogs are awful. Because they have talking dogs and it just doesn't work, does it? You have live action and then it's animation. Yeah. Which one is it?
That's why I hated The Lion King, because it's just fucking photorealistic animation. It's not real, actual real life. Mulan, Cruella isn't, because that's a different story altogether. Pinocchio, didn't see. Peter Pan and Wendy, I don't remember that. Oh, Little Mermaid, I saw that and it was dog shit. Mufasa, The Lion King was out last Christmas.
They fixed the issue with Lion King. They were clearly not real. And it was an original story as well, so it's slightly different. They were
Jenkins, what a waste of a fucking great director.
But it's actually good though.
Is it?
Yeah, it's actually all right.
Well, I suppose at least it's an original, quote unquote, original idea.
That's what
and then we had Snow White and Lilo and Stitch. Oh yeah, I've seen maybe two of them. $1 billion. Because people will turn out for nostalgia. Like
nostalgia from 10 years ago.
Well, Moana next year. It's going to be a decade old at that point. The original was released 2016. This is going to be 2026. Why the fuck do we need a live action version of Moana?
When we've got Moana 2.
Yeah. We'll be getting Moana 3, I think, next Christmas as well. So we're getting live action Moana and, another film. They got away with the second Moana. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. And it should have been terrible. But they got away with it. The songs are dog shit, but you can't always have Lin-Manuel Miranda doing the writing, can you? But yeah, like, why do we need it? Like, this is what we should be looking back on and thinking, what the fuck? And we should be thinking that now. Because it's just fucking antithetical to what art should be.
It's remaining in the conversation, isn't it? By just always pumping something out.
Yeah. And like it's cheap for them because they obviously don't have to hire new writers to do anything. Hate it. My worry in a decade's time, we'll be looking back, is going to be Predator Badlands. It's a film I really enjoyed, but I'm kind of worried because I don't want this to tip over and just become, oh, this did well, we're just going to do Marvel style films. Like, I kind of like how Trachtenberg has done a little bit of, we've got this spice, we've got that spice, we've got an animated film here, we've got this coming of age comedy almost with Predator Badlands. I like that we've got a bit of everything. If Predator Badlands just gives rise to Predator Badlands 2 and 3 and 4, and then all we get for the future is the MCUification of Predator, I'm not interested in that. And I'm worried that this could be the start of, like, he rehabilitated Predator. He did such a fucking good job of making the Predator something interesting and people wanted to see. I hope he doesn't fuck it up from this point on. I'm worried that that's what it's going to be. So fingers crossed I'm wrong, because I enjoyed it, and I hope it's not the start of the slide down at this point.
As long as he's in charge, and it'll be fine.
I hope so. I do hope so, because I think he's done some great stuff so far.
I mean, I listened to loads of interviews with him afterwards, and the fella, he's our age. He references like The Last of Us and Uncharted as influences for the set pieces, and I thought, yeah, you're a normal person of our age. Mm-hmm. You're just now making films, which is great, and he seems to know what he wants, but he doesn't really care.
The worry is always the studio, not the director.
Well, that's the point I was just going to make. It doesn't seem like he's bothered about listening to what they say, because he made an animated Predator film, which was good. And who would have thought of that after Prey? No one.
No, you're right. Like, it doesn't make sense, does it, to do a film set with they weren't Navajo, were they? But Native Americans. They even did it. They did two versions of it. One where they spoke English, one where they spoke the native language, and to follow that up with this King of, what was it, Stu?
Let's say King of Fighters. It's not King of Fighters.
No,
that's a terrible beat spot series.
King of Killers, or is it Killer of Killers?
Killer of Killers.
Killer of Killers. That's the one. Yeah. So you're right. Like, who would have thought that would be the next one, and then following that up with coming of age story? So yeah, I hope that he can keep having his eye on the ball and doing what he wants with it, because he seems like a great guy. Mm-hmm. So I'm all for that. All for more of that. Okay, so we're going to have a quick break here, and then we'll be back where we're talking about Freejackers. Thanks for joining us for the second part of the pod. Like, nothing is going to age this more than the fact that we are, like, the end of the last pod is me saying we're going to talk about Freejack, and now announcing that we're not really going to be talking that much about Freejack. We're actually going to be doing the film, which was just going to be a side quest. We're going to be diving into Samurai Cop 2 Deadly Vengeance. Did you watch Freejack in the end, Stu?
Yeah.
What did you think?
I think I know what you mean when you said it doesn't really fit in this category anymore. But we have got Running Man in here, which is what I like. It felt like one of these films where, yeah, it's got a dystopian kind of thing about it, but in a very 80s way. Yeah, we know it's 90s film, but it's the crossover.
Yeah.
Again, very much like the when you listen to this. Is that this week? Yeah, it is. The Libero podcast about 90s. About how the 90s is still relevant now and why.
Yeah,
it's very, very good actually. But not just for football, for other things, because I do mention like the crossover bit for music as well. Like the Stone Roses being 90s, yet they started in the 80s.
It's a good point. Yeah, you are right. It does feel like it is a crossover that is still we're still feeling the ramifications of it now because 90s culture is still quite popular.
Yeah, the lung 90s, they called it. I thought that was a reference like to lung COVID, but apparently it's not. Apparently it's a Japanese thing.
Oh, right, okay.
Where like technology peaked at a certain point and nothing's really changed for 20 years. Other than there's like iterations on what we had before. But you look at games, they're just the same, but they look better and they're more detailed.
It's right, like it feels like the 90s especially was 0 to 60, and then every year since has been going from 60 to 61 to 62. Like it felt like the 90s is very pivotal to where we are now, and now it's just incremental changes to tweak things.
Yeah, and the only 90s about this is the quite bizarre CG.
Yeah, like the lightning bolts and stuff that we see in it are very, very shonky.
And then the whole thing, like the where you're going through the mind palace or whatever the nonsense it was called,
yeah,
the tunnels and all that. I thought it felt like an 80s dystopian film, like RoboCop, like Total Recall, in that kind of thing. Yet with some very early shit 90s CG, and although the cars look like the cars out of Batman '89,
they do.
Because when they're moving, you can see that they're just shells on something else, like a Morris Minor or something, and they shake.
Yeah.
But maybe that was the quite bizarre, high quality copy that we managed to get of it. Yeah, I thought it wasn't an absurd film. It wasn't an absurd autumn at all. It was just an early 90s sci-fi film that was a bit shit. That's all it really was. And I enjoyed it because the way you said it, you put it, I thought, oh, this is going to be dreadful. But I actually thought, I didn't hate it. I enjoyed myself watching it. It was just a bit bland.
I found it really sluggish because I think if we had have carried on and done it for Absurd Autumn, I think it would have got high marks in certain areas. Like it had a decent little explosion with the F1 car, and like there's bits of it that I think would fit in with the premise of what we're doing. But the problem is that the bits in between the bits that fit for Absurd Autumn, it's just a drag. And I really found it throughout this film. Like at 2 hours, it's just far too long.
Yeah,
and it's utterly unnecessary. There's a decent 80-minute movie in here that could be big, fun, silly bollocks. But adding in an extra 40 minutes on top of that, absolutely no chance.
But you get the feeling that Jonathan Banks was born old.
Absolutely. I almost expected him to come walking in as his character from Breaking Bad. And he doesn't look a million miles off it. Like, he's just about to lose his hair, isn't he, at this point?
Yeah, because
he's about to become the man that we love at this point.
You look at him in this, and then you look at him in Better Call Saul, which was obviously after Breaking Bad, filming-wise. There's no way he looks 30, 35 years older than that. Not a chance.
No.
You think this could be 10 years later?
Yeah. 100%. He's like, it's literally, shave your head and we immediately know who you are at this point. That's all that's missing. And it might even be a wig, in fairness. I don't know. I don't really know a lot of his work pre-Breaking Bad and Community that he was in for 2010s. I don't know much of him before then, so maybe it is a wig for all I know. I don't know.
And I think if you're doing it on the ham and cheese charter, it would be very low, because I thought the acting was all right for what it was. Even Mick Jagger, I thought was okay.
Like I thought, like it could either be a 0 or it could be a 10. Like there's nothing in between, because some of Jagger's stuff, like his line deliveries, are a bit bizarre. But he's playing very subdued, which is not what I want from Mick Jagger. I want, the big camp strutting on the stage with the Rolling Stones. I don't want whatever he gave us in this film. And Anthony Hopkins clearly didn't give a fuck about this film. No. It was just, fuck you, pay me, I think must have been his motto at this point.
And he said, apparently on the IMDb, he said since that it's a bad film anyway. It's one of his worst.
I mean, he's in it for all of 6 minutes. I think he appears occasionally and then he has a little bit of a run at the end. But nowhere near enough for it to be relevant, I don't think.
I thought that Mick Jagger was going to be like Bennett in Commando. I thought it was going to be that kind of campness.
I'd have preferred that, I think.
And he wasn't. He played it way too straight.
Yeah, he did. Which when we know what Jagger's like, that is almost a good score on the ham and cheese charter, isn't it? Because it's against type for him.
I don't think I've ever seen him in a film before.
So
he's done
something, surely.
He has done a few films.
Okay.
I just haven't seen them. And to get second billing as well.
I suppose, like, at that point in Hopkins would have been a name. Emilio Estevez at this point is on the come up because obviously he's part. Was he actually like officially part of the Brat Pack, or was he just Brat Pack adjacent?
Oh, he was definitely in there because he was. I'd seen him in quite a few things already. Let's have a look. Should have looked this up, should we?
Yeah, I don't know any of the things that Mick Jagger has done. I'm just looking now. He was in Ned Kelly. I've heard of Ned Kelly, but he actually played Ned Kelly. Performance. I don't know any of these. Fitzcarraldo? What the fuck? It was a scene cut, and I've never heard of that film. Laughter in the Dark. This. Bent, which has got a 7.1. The Man from Elysian Fields in 2001. Like, the only thing that I know him from is the episode of The Simpsons where he played himself. Like, that's literally it.
So looking at Emilio Estevez, Young Guns 2, Young Guns was 88.
Young Guns.
Stakeout was 87. Maximum Overdrive. Had that on video.
Great film that is. There used to be a tattoo parlour in Warsaw, and they had the front of the truck above the door as you walked in. It's Green Goblin, isn't it? I think it's based on the Spidey character. Yeah, great stuff.
St Elmo's Fire, Breakfast Club. So he was absolutely in that part, in that kind of
yeah,
thing.
I'm just looking at it now. The alleged members. Emilio Estevez identified in Bloom's original article as the unofficial president of the Brat Pack. Emilio Estevez, Rob Lowe, Andrew McCarthy's not a name I recognise. Demi Moore, Judd Nelson, Molly Ringwald, Ali Sheedy, Anthony Michael. I mean, that is mostly the Breakfast Club, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then you've got Spader, Downey Jr., John Cryer, Cusack. Oh, both Cusacks are considered it. Mayor Winningham, don't know her. Broderick, Cruz. Cruz isn't a member of the Brat Pack in no way. Neither's Cage. Like, these must just be very adjacent. No, Kiefer Sutherland. I would have thought Kiefer Sutherland would have been Brat Pack.
Lost Boys 88?
Yeah. And you've also got Flatliners as well with Julia Roberts, who I would also consider to be. These ones are apparently loosely associated with the group's core members. Maybe that's it. Maybe these are just So your Spader and Downey Jr. are Brat Pack adjacent, and then your Cruz, Cage, Sutherland and Roberts are just mates of the Brat Pack.
Yeah, a lot of this is going to be like revisionist history as well, because Kiefer Sutherland did fuck all between... for the best part of a decade until 24 revitalised his career. So,
yeah, very true. But yeah, like you've got on the list of associated to the core group. So you've got, as I said, Cruz, Matt Dillon, Cage, Modine, Charlie Sheen, Bacon, Sutherland, Roberts. Those last four, I would have thought would be prime Brat Pack members: Charlie Sheen, Kevin Bacon, Kiefer Sutherland, and Julia Roberts. Like anyone who I think who was in Flatline, that feels proper on the line of Brat Pack. I feel like there's an episode in this.
Yeah.
I do like a bit of Brat Pack nonsense. There's got to be a modern day Brat Pack.
Of course.
I mean, maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Maybe this time, maybe we'll have a look, and at some point next year we'll do the Brat Pack and whatever the modern version of the Brat Pack is.
Hold on a minute. Have I just seen something here? This could be a or is it just a coincidence? They fucking remade it.
What, Flatliners?
No, I've never seen this film before.
I've not seen it, but I remember the remake being around, and I was like, yeah, I'm absolutely not watching that.
But you look at who's in that. Diego Luna, James Norton, Kiefer Sutherland.
Of course.
Some Bridges. So is it a sequel? Is it a sequel?
5.2. Jeez. Elliot Page, Nina Dobrev.
Hang on. We're going to get in trouble, ain't we? He was Ellen Page then.
Yeah.
Obviously. So you can't. This is not for us, is it? But how can you can't dead name someone if they were a woman back then, can you? Surely.
I think how IMDb would do it is they will say they were credited as Ellen Page.
That's how they're doing it on there, because it's coming up as Elliot, because that's what he is now.
Because that's what he goes as now, yeah. So I think like I would still refer to them as Elliot in this day.
So what happens if you put Ellen Page?
I suspect if you put Ellen Page in, like, it will come up with his filmography still.
Doesn't it come up at all?
Does it not? Oh, okay.
Ellen Page search.
Because I would have thought that you're going to get people who go, even people who haven't gone through this sort of change, you will still get people who will be credited, like people who've got married and changed their names, like Jessica Stevenson, was previously Jessica Hines. So I think I would have expected it to cover both, because of obviously the body of work pre-transition and post-transition.
Yeah, it's not. It's coming up with like appearances, things like the Daily Show.
Yeah,
but as you put on the movies or shows, it doesn't come up at all. Okay,
so it'll be episodes that were titled,
yeah,
starring previous, like, yeah. Okay, I'll get it.
Well, how you do that in the back end? Maybe that's way too complicated to even think of.
Yeah, there's people who get paid lots of money to make this. It was a PG-13, Stu. The 2017 version. I wonder what the original was, because it feels like if you're going to make something like that kind of film, it needs to be at least a 15 in our world. You don't want to make it for teeny boppers. You want it to have a little bit of fear to it, I suppose.
Flatliners was a 15.
Yeah,
15 in 1990 as well.
1990. It's got R on IMDb, so yeah, that would be. I think R in America is 17 plus.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, it probably would work out to a 15. Nominated for an Oscar. I did not know that. Best effects. Interesting. I haven't seen it for such a long time. Kind of want to watch it now.
Yeah, when was the last? I mean, I probably haven't seen it for since school, maybe.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because I'm sure either like Dean's dad might have had it on video or something. I've never seen it on telly. I didn't own it on DVD, so I must have seen it on video somewhere.
Yeah, I kind of want to watch that and Lost. I just want to watch Brat Pack, if I'm honest. I miss those days. I'll make a note of that, and we'll do something next year about old Brat Pack, who's the new Brat Pack, and maybe watch I suppose we'll be watching some of that stuff anyway, won't we? So,
yeah, spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. That'll tie in nicely, I think.
Yeah, because then you could put the interim Brat Pack, which was the Ocean's films.
Yeah, let's do that. Right, Brat Pack, 80s to early 90s. Then we've got the noughties to 20s, probably.
Yeah.
And then we'll look at the 20s onwards. I think that's a good idea.
Brat Pack month.
I like it.
What's the most brattiest month? We can't have Brat Summer. I was
going to say we should have done it during Brat Summer, shouldn't we?
Fucking Brat Summer. Brat Summer's like Elf on a Shelf.
Oh, it can fuck off. I just don't. I don't get it. Like, when you were a kid, did you like actually believe in Santa Claus? Because I don't think I did.
What do you mean as a kid? Obviously. But you were born with a beard though, so it was different for you.
I mean, yeah. Like, I feel like I've always been. I don't know if it's because I've been an atheist. That I don't believe in anything.
Cynical.
I'm just
heartless and
soulless, cynical. Yeah, and it just kind of feels like I've always been in on the joke with it, or at least since maybe being 5.
Yeah, like I don't remember a time when it kind of went from one to the other, but I remember going to things at Christmas at it was either at the Minerva, which is a quite bizarre place now, or Essington Working Men's Club, and who I now know was Nigel, was doing the DJ for the thing, and was in the costume once, and I remember not knowing that was him, and the whole it were his helpers and stuff like they do in Home Alone. But yeah, I busted them because it was the way it was. But like we had this the other day, literally the other day, where I've got one of them countdown chalkboards, and so I just do it before I go to work every morning. When I leave the house at like 5:00, so no one else is up. So I change it and then put the chalk behind my shoes in the hall. And Corey said to me yesterday, he's like, "Well, if Mummy doesn't do it and Ethan doesn't do it, it's not the ghost is doing it because they don't like Christmas, and you're not doing it because you're at work." I went, "Well, it's the magic of Christmas." And he sat there and just looked at him. Okay, accepted it. And not even when he's 8. So with
lying to your children.
With Ethan, he just kind of he never. I think he was probably scared to say, like, in case he didn't get anything. But yeah, so therefore they're there to be lied to. Like we were lied to with Freejack, which I constantly forgot the name of all the time.
Yeah, I've been calling it Freejackers for like ages.
Freejackers
sounds better as well, I think.
Free Man, which was a better film. That
was the Ryan
Reynolds
thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, the game one. Fremantle Media, who made various TV shows in the early 2000s. Yeah, Freejack, shit name, average film.
Yeah, and I think, like, having watched it, I'd watched Samurai Cop 2 first, and then watched this, and I thought, oh no, I think there's more to discuss with Samurai Cop 2. And I'd made, again, and how many pages this time have I made? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I made 8 pages of notes, which is more than I made for Samurai Cop 1. So at that point, I was like, yeah, we probably need to talk about this, because I struggled to make any notes with Freejack because I was just bored, which is a bit of a crime. Because I don't think I've been bored with any of the other films we've watched during this mini run of stuff. Like, even the shit stuff, even Jim Carter and like, I enjoyed myself in spite of the nonsense. So and this is exactly the same with this. I enjoyed it in spite of it being quite a terrible film.
Yeah. This, I mean, there's words for Samurai Cop 2.
Yeah, so Samurai Cop 2 picks up 25 years after the events of the 1991 cult film Samurai Cop. Joe Marshall, played by Matthew Caridis, formerly Matt Hannon, once presumed dead, lives in self-imposed exile after the murder of his wife. His old partner, Detective Frank Washington, draws him back into action when a string of assassinations erupts amid gang wars involving the Katanas and rival factions. So, Stu, this film was originally supposed to be about Frank Washington, aka Black Cop, and his daughter, who was also a cop. They were out for revenge after the Yakuza killed Joe, and this was supposed to echo the real-life death of Matthew Caridis. However, he hadn't died. So the guy who wrote and directed this film was told that Carides, or formerly Hannon, had passed away. So wrote this movie as a tribute to his memory. And then like a week later, Carides put a video out to say, "Oh, I'm not actually dead." So yeah, they then rewrote the script into this. They put it, I think it was a Kickstarter movie. Yeah. It was made for $62,000, this movie was. Which, I've got to be like, they did really well with such a tiny budget.
Yeah. We've seen films that cost 100 times more than this. That was shit.
Yeah, and absolutely.
That kind of puts a different perspective on it, because it was made... My problem with it, and it's the only real problem I've got with it compared to the first one. The first one was obviously made for a bit of a laugh. And
yes.
They knew what they were doing. This one knows what it's doing, or a bit too much for me.
But there are,
yeah, but there are moments like when Black Cop gets that line and he looks at the camera, and I was like, yeah, okay,
yeah, still gurning after all these years.
There's nice little callbacks to the first one, and actual footage from the first one as well. But I will say Matt Hannon, or the name, whatever, looking incredibly in shape for a man of that age.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought, hang on, where's this footage from? Then you look at his face, and that's the only really kind of place you can tell.
Oh, haggard as fuck. Yeah.
I mean, he looks like he's zero body fat, like whatsoever. And that's probably why he looks more haggard than he probably should do in his face. Because he was a bit more like putty dough in the first one. But in this one, he looks ripped, and he is ripped, which makes the flashback scene even more stupid, because...
I mean, it starts with a flashback. Like, they've done nothing at all to make the characters look any younger in this. No makeup, nothing. Like, it's clearly 25 years later, and they're pretending it's still 1991. But at least there's no wig in this one, in fairness. Yeah. Like, it is just pure Carides, which is... Having seen clips, because it's now infiltrated my YouTube algorithm, and I keep seeing clips of the first one, the wig just looks worse and worse every time I see it. And I can't believe we missed it. I forgot to mention it last time. The scene where they pull the fucking wig off in one of the fights. It's so brilliant. Great film. So we meet Samurai Cop and Samurai Wife as well at the start of this film. Still with the soft kisses, there's just no romance going on in it.
No.
And then when she dies, when the kid comes up and shoots her, the kid, he comes over to Samurai Cop and says, where is it? "Officer, my sister's gone missing. Come on, she's over by the woods." So, firstly, one, how did he know that Samurai Cop was a cop? Because he was just sat there in a leather jacket. And two, if the sister's missing, how do we know she's over by the woods? So immediately I'm like, oh, this is bollocks, isn't it? This, they've put no effort whatsoever into this.
Yeah, and after, because I thought at first, oh, is that little girl who spoke to his wife the one he's looking for? Because why else would the little girl with the ball and her talking to her make any sense at all? And he had no reference.
No, nothing at all. Nothing at all. The flash forward to the congressman who gets murdered by the sex worker, who, I thought she was going to be the worst actor in this film until Baffling then appears, and I'm like, oh no, we're fucking plumbing the depths with this one. The sex scenes, again, we get quite a few sex scenes in this film, same as in the last one, but they're all just so unsexy. And I've then read apparently that most of the women in this film who are under 50 are porn stars. So how on earth are you going to do such tame fucking sex scenes in a movie like this with porn stars?
You could tell they were porn stars in the lesbianism bit.
I mean, that's probably the sexiest thing that happens in any of these movies, and it felt so out of place. Yeah. It was just very, very in your face, where everything else has been very tame.
I mean, again, it made no sense, really, for the rest of the film.
I mean, none of it did it?
it was almost like, oh yeah, they're just enjoying themselves on set. We'll film this, put it in.
Yeah, it does have a stench of that almost, doesn't it?
But when she's there with a senator before she puts that quite crazy looking injection gun into his arm to kill him with, and I thought, is this deliberately shit? Like, have they hired someone who can't act and they making her do these lines like this? I don't even know. I don't even know anymore.
No idea. But stuff like the injection beat, and then there's a bit in where they're on the plane, and a little bit where they throw that ball thing, which I think we've seen similar in Kill Bill. But in here, it was like a mechanical, motorized ball that was just sort of... It wasn't even going at speed when they threw it. It was just going along at like a fucking 2 miles an hour. And there's so many scenes that look like they're lit with fluorescent lighting, and it's all neon and semi-futuristic, that they're trying to make it into a sci-fi film, which is so far away from where we were with the original Samurai Cop. I had no idea what was going on through the vast majority of this movie.
No. You think that thing looked a bit like the eye from that floating thing from Big Trouble in Little China?
Yeah, it did, didn't it? I wonder if that's what they were like referencing with it, maybe, because it was very, very close to that kind of stuff.
They're going around zapping people.
Yeah, utterly weird. Frank's new partner, Gil. She's had so much work done, and the wig that she was wearing was so horrendous, with the fluorescent lighting making her look at least 70 years older than she was. She looked like Gwildor from Masters of the Universe, which I'm sure is not the look they were going for. We'd got another one of the weird black guy is a black guy jokes. The flight attendant. We'll come back to the flight attendant in a minute. The flight attendant hands Frank a gift, and it's in like a black cardboard box. And then Frank says, "Ha ha ha, the black gift." Is a black gift a thing? Or was he just saying black because the thing was black and he's also black? It kind of felt like it was the latter.
No, that's another one then. Remember when he said in the first one, when he's with a towel, and he turns to tell it a black gift.
Shit, yes, it's a reference to
black. It's another again, one. Yeah.
Black gift isn't a thing, though, is it? So, yeah. I mean, it's just... If he'd have handed him... I mean, it was a cardboard box. He could have made a black box joke. And I'd sort of... I mean, it'd still be shit, but I'd sort of get it at least. And no. We didn't mention the flight. I mean, last time out, he was in the restaurant. The Costa Rican gay stereotype that was wildly offensive. And he's now back as a flight attendant doing exactly the same campus tits shtick. I like how the first time we see him, he's got those glasses where you put the lenses down so they become sunglasses. And at the start of the scene, he puts them down and then walks over to the guys just to then lift them up immediately. I'm like, oh, you've done that, and that just needed editing out, but you've left it in because you're a terrible director. Which, in fairness, is kind of in keeping with the first film, isn't it?
And how everyone is on the plane as well.
Everyone. So we get the fight scene with Baffling, the porn stars, and then a couple of guys. And then at the end of the fight scene, Baffling and the porn stars just run off. But they're on a plane, so where are they running to? Like, they're just going to be in the hold, and they don't chase after them or anything. Because he's too busy trying to fuck the woman who, I say looks like his ex-wife. It's the same actor who played his ex-wife, just in a dark wig for this. And when he's too busy trying to fuck her, so yeah.
And when he says you should go blonde.
Incredible. So I think to go back to your point a little bit, the first film had that unwitting camp charm, didn't it? The sequel is just too knowing, and I think it just hits hard when we've got to this point, because like I said, you've got the scene where they just run to the back of the plane and there's no chase scene, which as cops they surely would do. So it does make this, it doesn't make it any less fun, but it does make it slightly more difficult to buy into, I think.
Yeah. So it look. I treat from the start of knowing what it was. I thought this is a tribute to the first film,
Mm.
and you couldn't really judge it as a film in its own right. And I thought, even like questioning it, is this deliberate? Like once I got over that, I thought I don't even care anymore. It's just funny.
Yeah. Because I mean, like The Room, which is we're going to have to mention it again because obviously this is starring Tommy Wiseau. The Room has, like, we love The Room because it has that charm. It was made to be something more, and then when it was actually delivered, it was horrific. And that's where the charm comes from in the first film with it, and this just doesn't have it. And the fact that they do use Tommy Wiseau kind of works against it, because I don't think you can make a cult film.
No, you can't.
You can't go in saying, I'm going to make a film that's going to appeal to like 7 people. It doesn't work like that. It becomes cult because of those 7 people talking about it nonstop. It doesn't work that way.
And that's why I kind of judged it differently because of that. Because I thought, well, actually, they know what the first one is, and what if you're kickstarting a film and you're putting it out. The fact that all the Kickstarter backers are on the screen as well is pretty cool.
Yeah. That is awesome.
Which is not that many people, and it explains why the budget's that massive. But if you are going to do something like this, and as a tribute to something that's strangely beloved from the past, what's the worst film in the world? The Room. So if you can get Tommy Wiseau, then do it. Put him in there. And he probably says Joe more times in one speech than in both films put together with anyone else.
It was so bizarre, wasn't it, that scene? I was so confused why he just kept saying his name constantly. Weird. But the first time we see Tommy is where he's smashing that room up. And apparently the director just said to him, you can't break this, this and this, but just do whatever the fuck you want. And I think you could see that throughout that scene and through most of his appearances in the movie. So the director had no rehearsal time with Tommy Wiseau. Tommy Wiseau just turned up, hadn't read the script, obviously. And so the director had to feed every single line to him. And in classic Tommy fashion, he got every line wrong. Like, there were multiple takes. He would literally say, and now you need to say A, B, C. And he would come out with fucking EDF. Like, he was just nowhere near it. Because it wouldn't be Tommy Wiseau if it was perfect, would it? Let's be honest.
Why are you doing this to me, Joe? Why, Joe? Why?
We do see the female officer from the first film, the one who's trying to and mostly succeeds in fucking everything. She's now working in a cafe and calls her daughter over. Doesn't introduce them and say, this is Joe and Frank, who I used to work with. And the kid immediately turns to Samurai Cop and says, are you my daddy? And then nothing. Like, it's not explained why she's asked that. She doesn't correct her or anything. And then we just cut to the next scene. Absolutely ridiculous film. There are plenty of funny moments, I do think, throughout this movie. I kind of like the fact that Frank doesn't get any better as an actor, that he's still gurning at the camera 25 years later. He's still horrendous. And I appreciate that. Bailing, I think she's awful. I mean, we've seen her in other films. She's done stuff with Cage before, and obviously she was in Crank 2, and she plays exactly the same character in everything. Just like a highly sexed idiot who cannot fucking speak. And I don't know how she keeps getting work, but I'm glad that she does at the same time, because she does bring something. It's usually bad, but she brings something to the screen. And I kind of dig it that even weirdos can get work in Hollywood still. Yeah, the multiple porn actresses are just horrendous. Like, surely... I mean, I take it wrong. I wouldn't imagine that being in porn, you get the chance to, like, stretch your acting chops. You're probably not going to go from porn to being fucking Olivia Colman, are you? Let's be honest.
You're stretching something else.
That's it. But at the same time, like, they are so bad that they like. We've seen films where they've dragged people off the streets who have given better performances than this.
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah, good point. So it is funny. Oh my god, the guy who had his arm cut off in the first film, who then reappears. And they've given him a prosthetic arm, but it's clearly a mannequin's hand, and they've put it in a sling.
Why?
Like, if you're giving him a prosthetic, why does he need a sling? And the thing's like, he was cut off at the shoulder as well. It wasn't just cut off at like the fucking wrist. I'd completely forgot about that to see these notes.
And then he, for people who are not going to watch it, he then picks up his prosthetic arm that's in a sling and waves it.
Yes, I'd forgot about that.
And he doesn't even recognise him either. Like,
No, he doesn't.
If someone cut off your arm 25 years ago and looked exactly the same 25 years later, you're gonna be pretty mad with them.
You'd think so. The guy who kept making what I can only describe as Oriental racist sounds. the white. I mean, he was white as fuck. He was whiter than both of us, Stu. And apparently, he was brought in by the director, and he said to the director, "I'm only going to speak in Japanese. So whatever you write, it needs to be in Japanese." The guy does not know Japanese, and he didn't even look at the fucking script either. So the director just said to him, "Okay, well, just speak the lines in English." No, I'm only going to speak in Japanese that he doesn't speak. So the director just said to him, "Do whatever the fuck you want." And so that's why he just kept making sounds like sound effects from Jackie Chan films and Bruce Lee films, like that level of racist stereotyping. That's where it came from, because he didn't know how to speak Japanese and only wanted to speak Japanese. Like, you can tell that these guys are just like, I can only assume they're drug addicts that need their next fix, apart from maybe 2 or 3 actors in this movie, because everyone else is fucking nuts in this film. Absolutely crazy. So we are going to be ranking this on 5 categories like we have done with the rest. Kaboom quotient, which is all of the stunts and explosions and nonsense. The plot pretzel, how incoherent is the film? Is there a message to the madness? The ham and cheese charter, which is the acting scale, and then the overall what the fuck factor, what we thought of this movie. Like you said before, Stuart, like, I feel like I've graded everything on this film on a curve, because they went in knowing that it was going to be, that they were going to be trying to do this. They were trying to make it a cult classic. So I've pretty much penalised it a point on every category on that scale, because the first one got good scores, and it deserves good scores on what we're looking at. This one is trying to recreate it, and I don't think that's fair. So penalising a point on everything, I think, is a reasonable way to go. For me personally, obviously, you can choose your own adventure with this one, Stu, but that's how I've gone with this. I just remembered something else I forgot to mention. The end of the film with Tommy Wiseau, when he then confesses that he was the teenager who killed Samurai Cop's wife in 1991. So we're supposed to believe that Tommy Wiseau is like 25 years younger than Samurai Cop in this film, even though he looks about 7 or 8 years older. I forgot about that. But yeah, that needed mentioning as well. And we've got the post-credit scene. They fucking Marvel Cinematic Universe it. I kind of do want a Samurai Cop 3. But...
No, this is the point. Yeah. That was going to be the point, that my end thing then, that we need a third now to tie it all together as the trilogy.
Ridiculous. Let's start with the plot pretzel. It's intentionally convoluted, isn't it? Like, it's the gang wars, the assassinations, the revenge arcs, Tommy Wiseau. It's very intentional what they're doing. I wouldn't be surprised if the script was purposefully made in a way that it just wasn't coherent. And when other films have done that and it's become incoherent because it's a mess, it feels really... It was purposeful how they did it, and I don't kind of like the self-awareness of it, where others have had good scores because it was just silly. So the plot pretzel for me, I'm going to give it a 6, which I don't know if I'm even being generous with that, to be honest.
I did I've gone down a similar route to you, but I gave it a 5. I mean, if this was like the first one, it'd probably be on a 9 because it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it's deliberately ridiculous, so you can't. It doesn't class in that category for that.
That's it. I mean, I gave Samurai Cop 1 a 9. So, yeah, it's been penalised quite heavily, I think, in comparison. I think you either gave it a 9 or a 10 as well. So, yeah, I think that's reasonable. The Kaboom quotient, the action is more stylized than the original. Like the neon shootouts, the sword duels. Like I almost expected him to pull out a lightsaber at one point because it was sort of leaning in towards that sci-fi kind of thing. The digital explosions, the blood, the bright fucking purple blood that was sort of flowing, but it wasn't really because it was CGI'd in and was so utterly bizarre. It felt like they were trying again too hard to deliver some spectacle, but with what can only be described as pre-1990s kind of CGI.
Yeah, they've got whatever's free in Unity or Unreal. I mean, I actually I gave it a 7 for this because I thought this doesn't really matter if it was intentional or not. It was impressive. Even more impressive now knowing how little money they had to spend with it because they got everything right. And it wasn't like, I will hit each other with plastic tubing, which is probably what it actually was. It looked like some effort had been put into it.
Like in the first film, obviously, they were sharing weapons and stuff because they had so little available to them. And I think there was still an element of that was good. And you are right. Like, I suppose intentionality doesn't matter so much in this kind of category because it still is what it is. I've given it a 6. So, like, what did I give the last one? I gave it a 7 last time out. So I think 6 is fine because I don't think it was quite as fun as the first one. But I did still enjoy the silliness of it all. Was there a message behind the madness here, Stu?
No, obviously not. It can't even have a 1 because obviously it's a tribute to the first one, which also had no meaning. So 0 out of 10, nothing.
That's reasonable. I gave the last one a 4. I've given this one a 2 because I do think there's like a faint gesture towards like legacy and action hero stuff. Like it's very, very tenuous again, to be fair. But that's why I gave it 2 because I think like it tried, it failed, but it did try to do something. So that's why I've given it a 2. And like it is an ode to something that's kind of beloved. So
yeah, I mean,
I've been slightly generous in giving it a 2, but you are right, to be fair.
I mean, maybe I'll change it. Maybe I should give it a 1, just because it is a tribute, and it has to be kind of noted that is the case. Because there was callbacks, like we said, and there was actual footage from the first one. So as a tribute, put it as a 1 rather than nothing.
Fair. The ham and cheese chart at Samurai Cop 1 was perfect. It got the 10 out of 10. It's manufactured, but it's manufactured from the director. The acting itself is still abysmal. Like, I don't think the director said to them, go out there and act shit. I think he just hired shit actors. So I've given it a 9. Because they're still horrendous, regardless of how they achieved it. They are still appalling. And all of them, like, there is not a single good actor in this film.
Yeah, same. 9. Just because, I mean, even Tommy Wiseau at this point, I like, does he know? Or does he even know? Or, he's either the biggest genius in the entire world, or he's insane.
It's probably a bit of both, isn't it?
Yeah, it's because, and that we know that he said he was upset with the room not being taken for what it is, but he has embraced it now, and doing things like this, and then not learning the lines and just turning up when he wanted to, and to tell the script as he's going along. Like he's kind of playing into it, but is he playing into it? It's like one of the biggest mysteries of our time.
It is a bit because, like, he from what I've read, because I read The Disaster Artist, the book that the film was then based on, and it did seem like he thought he was going to be Marlon Brando, that he was going to be, the next greatest actor of all time, and obviously he didn't by quite a long shot. But I don't know if he knows that or if he still thinks that he's the greatest, but he's just misunderstood. I kind of wouldn't be surprised if it was that, because by all accounts, I don't want to say narcissist because that's being harsh on him, but I don't think he ever looks in the mirror. I don't think he feels like he needs to because he's perfect.
Well, he kind of is in a way, but
I mean, for what he does, yeah, absolutely. It's just not the career he envisioned.
Yeah, but is the career that he's had better than what most people get? Yeah, probably is.
Yeah, absolutely. Like he's had a fucking tremendous career when you think about it.
I mean, if you think of it, in 50 years' time, more people are going to remember and know who Tommy Wiseau is than, I don't know, who's a Noah Weil, maybe.
Yeah.
Who's a very good actor for what he does, but he's excellent in ER. And he's a much better actor than Tommy Wiseau, but it's the whole infamy thing, and he's the most infamous film star ever, maybe.
Quite probably.
You only director-wise, you're comparing him to what U-Bowl, who probably does know that he's shit and doesn't care.
Yeah, it's right. Like Tommy Wiseau will leave a legacy. Like, I mean, I know she's like flavour of the month, or maybe not, but I'm almost certain that in 30 years' time we'll still be talking about Tommy Wiseau, but probably not Sydney Sweeney.
Well,
like I genuinely like she's a very mediocre actor.
Well,
she's had a great career so far, but I don't think she's got anything special.
We need to
Tommy
see that
Wiseau
film
is
first.
special. Christie, yeah.
I
don't know. The reviews have been so mediocre on it that I just
but well, that's something I make my own opinion on it rather than the obvious backlash of what she has and hasn't said.
I think with a lot of like actual proper film critics, I don't tend to listen to the popcornometer on Rotten Tomatoes. I think he's dog shit. I will listen to what critics have got to say, and I think if they'd have been really effusive, I would have been there day one. And the fact that they haven't, that it's just been kind of lukewarm, has just made me think, okay, I'll catch it when it's streaming, probably.
Yeah, I mean, there's things like the ratings that Hogwarts Legacy got on PS5 because it being what it is and who it's related to, even though she had nothing to do with it. And it was absolutely review bombed, and then it was the biggest selling game of the year. And then all them reviews were suddenly all changed later on. I thought, oh, yeah, okay. So, I mean, I was never going to watch that film in the cinema, Chris, in the cinema anyway. I'll watch it at home because you guarantee for something like that, there's going to be some dickhead in there ruining it all.
Well, I can't. It's the thing because it's a bit like the Dwayne Johnson UFC film, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, who's going to turn up for this kind of movie? It's going to be people who are like us, to be perfectly honest, who will watch most movies. It doesn't seem like it's going to have much of a wide appeal.
Yeah, but I've been like when I went to watch Mutant Mayhem, and there was a woman on her phone the whole time.
Oh, I had that as well at Mutant Mayhem. Time to turn the fucking phone off.
Yeah,
kids' films are the worst for it because parents don't give a shit about the film.
That's why I'm in an hour and about watching Zoo. What is it called the same again? Have they changed it?
Zootopia 2 in the UK and Zootropolis everywhere else.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like, I sort of understand why they changed Avengers to
Assemble.
Avengers Assemble, yeah. I sort of get it. It's silly because, most people will understand what that is, and it's not the original. But is there something else called Zootropolis in the UK that would prevent us from knowing what it was? I don't see anything else that we could possibly confuse it with.
Unless it's some stupid place like Flamingo Land or somewhere like that. if it's something as silly as that.
Yeah.
But even then, you're Disney. Who cares?
Yeah. I'm going to Google it. Why was Zootropolis called Zootopia? Oh, apparently trademark issues and potential confusion with an existing brand, such as Jivsduk Zoo in Denmark. Well, you're not going to fucking confuse it with that. So apparently there's some trademark somewhere that must only be for the UK. They felt marketing Zootropolis would resonate more with the UK audience than Zootopia and give it a unique title. That's it. Oh, so is it Zootropolis in the UK and Zootopia everywhere else? I thought it was the other way around.
Yeah. Who knows?
Weird. Very strange. I don't get why. Where were we? Sorry, yeah. Got sidetracked. So we've done the acting. So the final then, Stu, the what the fuck factor. What have you got there?
Again, it's not as high as the other one because it can't be.
I think it got tens last time out, the last one.
But I did enjoy it though, in a kind of sick way. Even with having to have the caveat in my head what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a 7. I was not bored at any point. I don't think you can be. Even
no,
it's something. If it's what they meant it to be, then great, you've achieved it. As a love letter to the first, wonderful. But it's like I saw a thing today that someone has made a Banjo-Kazooie game in Dreams.
Oh wow, okay.
Which is a PlayStation 4 game that is just a creation engine. You can build what you want in there. And someone has made Banjo-Kazooie 3 because Xbox won't. And the creator of Banjo-Kazooie has said it's amazing. Like instead of the opposite being true of, you can't use IP that's not yours, they can't monetize it anyway because you can't in Dreams.
No.
But everyone can now play this. I mean, you've probably got Dreams as
yeah.
So we could go.
I've never played it, but I have got it in my library. Yeah.
Yeah. So you could go in there. You could install Dreams, go to the in-game store, download the Banjo-Kazooie 3rd game that's completely unofficial and made by one bloke, and play that. That's an intentional tribute.
Mm.
Does it?
And
make
that's what
it
this film is, isn't it?
That's exactly what. That's my point is. That's someone else made that because the existing people wouldn't. In this case, they've got it and made it anyway, and the fans have got what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a bad thing? No, not really. So I think 7's fair.
I gave it an 8. Like, I did enjoy myself with it. It's not a patch on the first. It's just not. But I think if you like the first, you're going to get something out of this. You're going to enjoy the silliness and the callbacks and all of the silly shit that you enjoyed about the first is still here. It's just slightly muted. So whereas the last one was borderline perfect in absurdity terms, this one isn't quite, but it's like 80% of the way there, I think.
Yeah.
So that's why I've gone with an 8 on this one. So in all, this comes in at 60%. Where does that rank with the rest of the films? So that puts it... I mean, it's in the bottom. So we've got You're the Hunter was on 57, Jim Carter was on 54, and then this one comes in. So it's like it's third bottom. I'm okay with that because I think there are better films that were genuine, like earnestly ridiculous, whereas this one wasn't particularly earnest, but it was still on the side of good, I think. So
I wonder where Fire Ice and Dynamite would have come.
That's a good point. Like we never even did it. I mean, I think it would have been. I reckon probably somewhere in the 70s because I think when you look at everything else, we've got a few decent explosions. The plot is nonsensical. It is. It just is. It probably would have scored low on the message. I don't feel like there's much of a message going on there. Or maybe like the message is family.
Yeah.
It's like Fast and Furious. Yeah, that's it. The acting is quite abysmal. The what the fuck? Yeah. like it would be middling, I think, in the what the fuck, because it wasn't the most ridiculous, but it was silly enough that it was. I'd probably be like maybe a 6 or a 7.
Mm.
So I think you'd be looking somewhere in the 70s on that one, personally.
Yeah, and I found my DVD of it.
Excellent.
As it was in the cupboard, because I created a cat loft in my bedroom, because there's a built-in wardrobe, which has got my funeral jackets and stuff, and my Joker costume in there. Because why wouldn't they be together? Basically, things I very rarely wear. But the cupboard above it just had loads of shit in there, like a remote-controlled Dalek that was broken. So I chucked that away.
Yeah.
But it had a load of DVDs in there as well. And I just said it for the reaction that there was a load of things in there that like old PS3 demo discs as well. But next to the greatness that is Fire Ice and Dynamite was this, which is probably on YouTube as well. And we should have done this at some point.
Oh my God, Hercules in New York. I haven't seen that for years. What a truly terrible film. It was back when, like, I don't think Arnie could speak, let alone speak English. He was not in a good way in that point. I'm sure that's his first film, or at least his first English-speaking film. Yeah, incredible movie. That'd have been a great fucking choice for this. When we revisit this somewhere down the line, we'll stick that in there.
Promoted by Hollywood DVD.
Awful. Right, okay, Stu. Up next week, unless we change at the last minute, is Champagne and Bullets from 1993. It is a made-for-TV movie. 90 minutes, so like it can't be that bad, you'd think. 2 cops are fired after being set up by their corrupt boss, who gets appointed as judge, but secretly heads a satanic cult. After his wife is killed by the cult, one of the cops is determined to bring the cult down. I love the image, the artwork image on IMDb for this film. It's like an animated, looks like it's from a comic book, to be honest. You've got a naked woman and there's a guy shooting a gun and the gun is like covering her tits. It's brilliant. I enjoyed this film. Big silly nonsense. Probably closer to Samurai Cop than it is anything else. So I think this will fit in quite well. Whilst we're talking about absurd things, Stu, have you seen Haha You Clowns?
I don't think so.
I think you need to watch it. And you're either going to absolutely fucking hate it or love it. It is ridiculous. It's a TV series that started 8 weeks ago. So the 8th episode, I think, is coming out this coming weekend. Or last weekend for people listening to the podcast. And it's about 3 brothers who love their dad. They're all, like what I can only assume, in their 20s, but they act like children. It's some of the worst animation I've ever seen. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. And I've loved it. 8 episodes so far, and they're 10 to 15 minutes long. They're really short. They're really easily digestible.
Why have they got curtains?
Because it's just weird. It's just the weirdest show I've seen this year, I think. And I gave it a go, and I watched it. And I was like, I don't know if I liked that. So I watched it again. I was like, yeah, I did like that. Yeah, 8 episodes, 15 minutes apiece. Give it a watch, Stu. Just give a couple of episodes. I think if you don't like the first 2 or 3 episodes, you won't like it. But if you do, I think... I kept watching it. I was like, I think Stu might like this. But I think it's going to go one way or the other. You'll either be 5 stars or 0 stars from you. I don't think it'll be anything in between.
Yeah, I know this name.
Which one? Joe Capper.
Joe Capper.
Or the name of the show. Oh, Joe Capper. I think he's done quite a bit of other stuff. Like, I think it's a fairly... so, like, he's an actor, writer, camera and electrical department. I've seen quite a few bits, to be fair. Ghost Dogs, the short. Oh, that was only the short of it. There's nothing that particularly jumps out at me. I've heard of the odd bit on here, but I've not seen any of it.
Yeah, he might be just something like someone who turns up on podcasts and stuff.
Yeah, potentially.
There's that picture.
It's like I kind of love how shonky the animation is. But yeah, I'll give it a few episodes, Stu. We'll talk about it next week. It's available on our streaming service. But yeah, I think if you enjoy it and you watch one episode, you'll binge all of them in one go.
Yeah.
And I kind of hope it works.
Yeah, just looking at this, it looks utterly ridiculous.
It is. So that's this week's homework, I think, let's watch a few episodes of this and we'll talk about this next week. And champagne and bullets. Right, okay. So make sure you subscribe to whatever podcaster that you listen to us on. And if you could leave us a review, that would be fantastic. It really does help with the I can't tell you how it helps, but it helps because it just promotes us to other people, and we kind of want to do a little bit more and maybe grow. So if you could just give us a couple of minutes of your time, we would genuinely love you forever for that. Socials, I was forgetting what the fuck I'm supposed to say at this point. Socials at Cage Fighting Pod, emails to cagefightingpod@gmail.com. Stu, for this week, would you like to say goodbye?
Joe, and Joe, goodbye.
It's goodbye from me too. And remember, be excellent to each other.